Good afternoon and welcome to day number 194. My name is Mary, and today's story is The Temple Rebuilding Begins. After the Jews came back to their own land, they first built the altar on Mount Moriah, as we read in the last story. Then they built some houses for themselves, for winter was coming on. Early in the next year, they began to rebuild the temple of the Lord. Zerubbabel, the prince, and Joshua, the priest, led in the work, and the priests and Levites helped. They gave money to masons and carpenters, and they paid men of Tyre and Sidon to float cedar trees from Mount Lebanon to Joppa. Then they carried them up the mountains to Jerusalem for the building of the house. When they laid the first stones in the new building, the priest stood ready with trumpets and the Levites with cymbals to praise the Lord for his goodness in bringing them once again to their own land. The singers sang, "Praise the Lord, for he is good. His mercy endureth forever toward Israel, his people." All the people shouted a great shout as the first stones were laid. But some of the priests, Levites, and Jews were old men who had seen the first temple while it was still standing more than 50 years before. These old men wept as they thought of the house that had been burned and their friends who had been killed in the destruction of the city. Some wept and some shouted, but the sounds mingled together, and those who heard from a distance could not tell the weeping from the shouting. But these builders soon found enemies, and the work was slowed down. In the middle of the land lived the Samaritan people, some of whom were from the old 10 tribes. Others were people who had been brought into the land by the Assyrians many years before. These people worshipped the Lord, but they also worshipped other gods. They came to Zerubbabel and said, "Let us join you in building this house, for we seek the Lord as you do, and we offer sacrifices to him." But Zerubbabel and the rulers said to them, "You are not with us, and you do not worship as we worship. You can have nothing to do with building this Lord's house. We will build by ourselves to our God, the God of Israel, as Cyrus, the king of Persia, has told us to build." This made the people of Samaria very angry. They tried to stop the Jews from building, frightened them, and wrote letters to the king urging him to stop the work. Cyrus was a friend to the Jews, but he was far away, carrying on a war, so he could not help them. Soon after this, he died. And that was the word of the Lord. Now we come to our discussion questions. Number 1. What did the Jews do when they first came back to their land? What did the Jews do when they first came back to their land? Number 2. What did they start to rebuild? What did they start to rebuild? Number 3. How did the people feel when they laid the first stones? How did the people feel when they laid the first stones? Number 4 and last, why didn't Zerubbabel want the other peoples in the land to help rebuild the temple? Why didn't Zerubbabel want the other people in the land to help rebuild the temple? And that was the end of our day number 194. Have a good day and may God bless us all. Bye for now.